Hey to the most amazing nurses. It is Dr. V here with Morning Infusion with Dr. V podcast, where we are intentional about teaching nurses how to work from anywhere around the world, making money and owning your own time, building profitable nurse coaching and consulting businesses. You will hear from amazing guests that have grown their companies and want to share insight into how you can do the same to change the face of healthcare as we know it. If you want to grow your businesses and leverage your knowledge as a nurse to grow wildly successful businesses at the top, instead of working your way to the top, head on over and join our Millionaire Nurse CEO group on Facebook, where you can ask questions and get updates on our live and virtual events to help you grow your businesses. Hey everyone, so I am so super excited today to have this amazing powerhouse of a woman, Miss Deborah Drummond. And so Deborah, tell us a little bit about yourself. And she ain't a nurse, but listen, it don't even matter, okay? Because she's amazing. So go ahead, tell us about yourself.
Well, thank you. I mean, I did spend many years in the health and wellness sector. Look, I'm coming to you from beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, because I know there's more than one Vancouver. And what can I tell you about myself? You know, I have two incredible children. I am a yaya of two. I am heading into my 32nd year of entrepreneurship. I went from the music industry into the health and wellness sector when there wasn't a sector. I had to do a lot of grassrooting in terms of health and wellness and really open a lot of doors. And I am known as a keynote speaker in the banking industry here, insurance industry. Just really, I was the first speaker to get through to the banks and go, hey, they call me a professional hippie, was to talk about health and wellness, you know, in the boardroom type of thing. You know, I remember, yeah, and I can go stories and stories, but I can tell you, you know, lemon in their water was awakening 20 years ago. Anyways, I am what people call an ultrapreneur. I believe truly I'm a servant leader, and I'm here to make people better, and I'm here to help platform people to a better place so that they can do what they need to do. How that's shown up is that's shown up as someone who's a speaker and a trainer that works with solopreneurs to help them optimize their businesses or their life, right? So how's that?
That is amazing. So I want to go back to what you said. So you started out in music. So what did you start out doing in music exactly?
Yeah, look,
involved.
Yeah, I was in the music industry before I think I was legally old enough to be in a bar. So my entrepreneurial, you know, spirits got kicked in really early on. My mom introduced, just as you were talking about your mom, you know, my mom introduced me into what was probably one of the most powerful circles of commerce that I'd ever saw. And you know what I'm talking about? At 8 years old, she was a Tupperware lady because my dad left and didn't leave her with a whole lot of ching ching. And so she had to grab and take care of the family. And she took me to this Tupperware party, and I saw this massive circle of commerce. I saw women supporting women in the most coolest way. I mean, it really made an impression on me. But anyways, as she continued in that world and she went back to school and learned finance, I went into the world of booking bands, nightclubbing, the cocktail waitress scene, the nightclub scene, the getting bands exposure scene, connecting the club to the band and supporting the music industry as it was starting to build, and helping indie bands get alive and on stage and that kind of thing. So I went from that. And in my 20s, I had a nudge that I needed to go in another direction. And that was really interesting. And so I did. And as I was going to go back to school, I was going to actually go to school and take a degree in women's studies and religious studies and go help women in third world countries create economic platform. I got pregnant with my daughter, whom is now 30, who has two of her own. And so I'm allergic to wheat, dairy, and sugar. And I'll tell you how my big career started. I was pregnant and I wanted a muffin. And the only place that I could get a muffin that was sugar, wheat, and dairy free was one location in Vancouver. And it was at least a 40-minute drive. And I made my daughter's father drive me. And I went in and I grabbed a muffin. And on the way out, I saw a pink flyer. And it said something about, you know, massage and, you know, healing. And I grabbed the flyer and I called that number. And that completely changed the trajectory. And now I believe today that I create economic platform for women all over the world. Isn't that interesting? It just was a different route.
Very interesting. And and it what's interesting about it is that, I was reading a book. It's called Outwitting the Devil, by Napoleon Hill. One of the things that he talks about is that when you're a wanderer, or when you're, I think it's wanderer, that
Mhm.
you don't have definite of purpose, but you had definite of a purpose. You were like, I'm going to get that muffin, right? And so you go and you get this muffin, and it literally
Mhm.
changes your life, completely. So tell me
Mhm.
about that change. Tell me about how it changed your life, and what exactly did you do with that definiteness of purpose? It's a hard word.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, I grabbed this flyer, and it was about a massage course being offered by this woman. And I was not thinking about going into massage. I was thinking about going into a completely different form of studies, but I was a little lost because because I was pregnant, I couldn't take a 4-year degree anymore. And the religious studies that I wanted to study, which was only a 4-month course, not enough people signed up at the university for it. So I was left pregnant going, I needed to rethink. And before I had time to sit down with my own mind and do that rethinking process, the flyer caught my attention. I called this woman. She talked my language. She said, come and meet me. You're pregnant, taking a massage class while you're pregnant, not quite sure. I had, though, used massage. I had gone for massage during a time when I was in transition, and I felt it was very empowering and very healing if the masseuse could just stop talking. She kept talking, like, don't talk, right? So I didn't talk when, and then I went and I met her, and it was game on. And my second class, I got tingles. I was like, this is what I'm going to do the rest of my life. And I ended up in a 27-year career. I'm hosting the first holistic health center in Vancouver. I've worked on over 30,000 clients, and I got those tingles the second day saying, I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. Now, I'm really fortunate. When I made the decision to shift from helping people there to helping people like what I do in the media company, I said I always wanted to be able to offer those healing services for people as God jobs. And so I still have my website out. I still have that out. And when people find me or get referred to me, I have a massage table here. And for me, I feel that's a God job, that there's something I have that they need, which they found me because I don't market myself that way anymore. And I do the work.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So now tell me a little bit about how you went from massage therapist to this top performance trainer. And the reality is that, like, you're so much more, but we'll just talk about that for
Yeah.
current time period. So
Yeah.
how did you go from one to the other?
So here's the interesting thing. When I was sitting on the couch pregnant, and we didn't know what we were going to do because my daughter was wanted but not planned. And so, like, we didn't go, oh, let's, this is this, and we're like, oh my God, we're so excited. But this was not part of the agenda, right? University was on the agenda. So it left this, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And we were a little worried. We were worried financially. We were worried in all sorts of things, right? Young family. And so I was up one night at 3 a.m, and I was worried. I think it was 2 a.m. And it's weird that I remember this because she's 30. So we're going back a little while. And there was one of these infomercials on. And we didn't have a lot of money. We didn't have any money, right? Like we just didn't have any money. When I say we were eating rice and peas, we were doing rice and peas because all of a sudden, her dad was on his way to build his business. Anyways, all sorts of things. We're not, the tide wasn't rising. And I saw this tape series. Okay, it was a tape series, like 32 tapes from a motivational speaker and someone who was teaching business and all that kind of stuff. And I took anyways, I bought it. It was $300. When my daughter's father woke up in the morning, wasn't excited. It wasn't excited, but I had this, moment of commerce, that feeling like I need those tapes. Now, they were very much around business and top performance and how to have a business in a way that was fruitful. And I literally studied. I mean, I studied in courses, and I've paid up to $750 an hour on a deal price for an hour to be with coaches. I have studied and studied. I studied top performance and efficiency in communication and effective sales. I've studied so much of it for 30 years. I started teaching it many years ago. And then, I've owned companies, right? I've owned direct sales companies. I'm really well known in the direct sales sector, and had I've had high awards. I've been Success Magazine 48 times for my ability for acquisition. So I really went out there in the world and applied and learned and applied and learned and went to courses and weekends when I couldn't afford them, and got a lot of skills. Like, I've read Think and Go Rich. People said, you should read Think and Go Rich by Napoleon Hill. When I started taking these courses, I had read it 10 times already. I don't know how I got my first copy, but I eat that stuff. I love that stuff. And so I'm this. When people call me a professional hippie, I have a brain that works like a Rubik's Cube. Like, it's almost an architectural engineer brain. You give me a business idea and I can lay it out and optimize it. And in my soul, I'm just a super cool hippie that wants to heal the planet, right? And so I know it's not a usual combination, so I'm told, but that's how I function. That's how I work. So that's how I got here.
I love it. It is an amazing story. So tell me a little bit about, because I really, really want to know, because we talked a little bit about your health journey and how that you struggled with that. And also, so is your son younger or older than your daughter?
Oh, so my daughter is 30
Uh-huh.
and my son will be 20 in December 27th.
And so he's the one that has the business.
So yes, he's launching his first business, but my daughter did as well. She had a business when she was younger. Ironically, it was a clothing company called Baby Oceanwear after her son. Oh my goodness, after her brother. And actually, that's what my son's launched. My son's launched a streetwear company. He's a fashion and an artist and a designer, and sat at the sewing machine at 16 years old. So yeah, he just literally launched a month ago, and it's really exciting. He's making his way. Now, this being said, he's having the success that he has because he sat me down 5 years ago and said, I want to be an entrepreneur. And so we've been building, and he's been building. I'm not a hover parent. I'm like, you want to learn this? I will teach you if you show up. So he's had to show up for 5 years, and now he's launching pretty considerably.
I love that. I love that because one of the things that we have talked about in our circles is how like parents who know that purpose and they understand what their children or what the world needs, right? As a general rule, because you as a top performance trainer understands exactly what you need in order to be successful, right?
Yes.
And so when you are the parent and you are like a coach to him, right?
Mm-hmm.
It literally changes the world because my niece, she came to me one day and people know that there's this, and I'm going to make some people a little bit upset. Don't unfollow me. But it's okay if you do. But the deal is that, there's this thing called medical office assistant, right? And so the community colleges, they push that and push it and push it and push it. And my niece kept saying she couldn't get into the nursing program. She kept saying, I'm going to go and be a medical office assistant. And I said, no, you're not. Because I understand that is not what you need to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
She kept saying that. And I was like, no, that's not what we're going to do. Because I understand that there's not as much return on investment if you were a nurse. So the way that they touted that was that whenever you become an LPN, you will only get pinned as an LPN, but you get a degree as a medical office assistant. And it really doesn't matter because at the end of the day, what you want to fulfill your purpose as the highest form and also to make the money that you need to make in order to have your family be supported, right?
Yes.
And so you are in your house teaching your son how to do that. And he has no idea.
No, I know. Well, he gets told, but other people tell him. But here's the thing that I want to say, because it's such a big thing. It's such a big thing that Kimberly Butler, and I don't know who she is, but she photographed the last 5 presidents, and she was Barbara Walters' photographer for 8 years. she is so in on this subject with me. And there's this topic, momager, like there's momager and there's dadagers, and momager. And I'll tell you, as a momager, there's some real talk that needs to happen, because, it's not all glam either. Like, the part of our lives that gets divided when you have someone underneath that you're coaching through, or you're helping to that next level. And on our summit in January and February, she's actually going to interview me. And I'm going to start I'm adding a YouTube channel to my channel with the conversations of momager, because it looks, oh my gosh, you got a kid that's, come on, there's reality there. And there's also things that, are advantageous to do and not do. And it's tough. I got to tell you, it's tough, because this is a place where you need to watch your kid fall a little bit. Like, I'll tell you, he's on podcasts and people are like, oh, it's so great. I'm like, he almost yells at me before we go. He's like, I'm not going on. I'm like, so I send him the Zoom and I'm like, see you there. You know what I mean? Just hope he shows up. Now he's more comfortable. It took him a year to get comfortable so that he could do his own speech at his own opening. But there's a real pull. Like, you don't want your kids to hurt, yet you want them to have life lessons, and it's a real dance. But yes, he's very lucky. I think all our kids are lucky. The generations before have cut grass, I don't care, made path, whatever you want to say, and that they get the best of that. I think this is the first time that there has been more of a world acceptance around young people coming up and not having to earn their wings, but be respected for what they bring to the table, yet still have wisdom to learn. Right? I think it's a first generation, because I'll go ask my 19-year-old something tech, and I'll listen to what he has to say.
That's right.
I think it's the first time we've ever had that, where they've had this opportunity, and they're really fortunate if they have parents like us.
That's right. I love it. I love it. I love it. And you're right, because it is the struggle. It is the pull of, sometimes you just got to let them fall sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
They will never learn. And what happens, and I tell people all the time, that I'm not going to enable you to be powerless. I'm going to empower you to be powerful.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to teach you how to fish, but I will not fish for you.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I love that. I love that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to commercial break, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about stand up, speak up, show up. Yes, you. It's going to be amazing. Y'all don't want to miss. Hold on. We coming back. Hey to the most amazing nurses. It is Dr. V here with Morning Infusion with Dr. V podcast, where we are intentional about teaching nurses how to work from anywhere around the world, making money and owning your own time, building profitable nurse coaching and consulting businesses. You will hear from amazing guests that have grown their companies and want to share insight into how you can do the same to change the face of healthcare as we know it. If you want to grow your businesses and leverage your knowledge as a nurse to grow wildly successful businesses at the top, instead of working your way to the top, head on over and join our Millionaire Nurse CEO group on Facebook, where you can ask questions and get updates on our live and virtual events to help you grow your businesses. Okay, so we're back with Miss Deborah Drummond, who has been at, how many times you been in Success Magazine?
I know, 48.
She said 48 times. Do you know how much I love Success Magazine? Love it, right? And so anyway, so let's talk about your show, Stand Up, Speak Up, Show Up, Yes You. So tell us about that and how that even started.
Well, that was, I was motivated when I was 31 years old, because I had this great Women's Day planner, and it went out of print, and I had these beautiful black and white pictures, right? The photography was black and white of women. And I was like, I want to do one of these one day. So that was when I was 31. So really, we're talking, do I have to use the word decades? So it was over 20 years ago. And so that always sat with me. Now, in the meanwhile, I create this media company. Media company is called Mission Accepted. And what does Mission Accepted do? It helps get people that are on a mission out for the world to see. All right. So through a very clear divine message. I'm not kidding. Walking across the bridge, hearing the words, "It's time," scream so loud in my ear that I literally jumped. And I'm sitting at the very desk that I'm sitting here. And in my media company, we publish books, women that are in usually different business sectors. So I called my publicist and I said, "You know that women's book I've been flapping about forever?" She's like, "Yeah, I do." I'm like, "It's time." She's like, "Let's do it." So we had just come off a really incredible run of a woman's book of 22 women and 5 couples. It had hit 140 million media impressions and was #1 in Amazon for almost 5 weeks. A lot of people hit Amazon for one day, and then, but we did our work, and that's what we had it out there and everybody was super happy. So she was like, "Absolutely, let's do another book." And then she's like, "How many women?" I'm like, "I'll pray tonight. I'll let you know tomorrow." And for 3 days, I got an answer. And for 3 days, I threw it back and said no. And that number was 262 until I texted my girlfriend, "How are you?" And 262 came across my screen. I called my publicist, whose name was Angel. So, I said, "It's 262. And she's like, "Nope." I'm like, "I've been fighting for 3 days. Get ready." And so that started this incredible book. It's 262 women, entrepreneurs, ultrapreneurs, creatives, and media, rock, legacy, and tell all. And we wanted to create a book that pinnacled my 30 years of helping women in business. And it's a full cover spread, and you can get on any show and any this. Anyways, it's the show that gets you on TV. And then after I was sitting on my coach office about a year ago, because this project's a 2 or 3 years. There's 450 women behind the curtain. This is not a 4-month project. This is about 3 years by the time that we complete this. It's about a 3-year project. And so as I'm sitting on the coach office, about 9:00 at night, there's a movie that gets sent to me. Literally, I hear, "We've sent it 3 times, watch the damn movie." So I watched this damn movie, and the movie is a life story of Gloria Allred. It was called Seeing All Red. And literally after watching that movie, I called my publicist and said, we're going to launch at Christmas. We're launching International Women's Day instead. And so the next day, I watched the movie in silence, listened for what I needed to do, and I started writing. And the message was, you need to get women to remember International Women's Day and honor it the way moms do Mother's Day. I was like, "Oh, really? Anything else you want done?" I mean, that's not like a small task. And then I heard it had to be accessible. So for some women, $10 equals $10,000, depending where you are in the world. So I knew instantly it needed to be free. So get that. I'm sitting there. I need to create an event that is going to take up a lot of time. And I need to have it accessible to every woman and those that support women in the world. And I need women to remember the solidarity of International Women's Day, because it has, for the most part, turned a little bit into a Facebook posting day. And so because there's not the marches down the streets and we're not signing petitions and all those things. So it's not really up for us. And if you are a person that does all that, like, hats off to you, but it's been the exception, not the rule. And so how am I going to get women to remember to take care of themselves? How am I going to get women to remind themselves that you have women in solidarity all over the world? So you are not alone, ever. Like, you are never alone. And so how can I get women to tap into that essence? And so we created these summits once a month on the 8th day of every month. You can come fill your bucket with women speaking, sharing, inspiring, and educating. There's a celebrity on every summit. Come hear from women that you probably already know. And there is 22 summits. And get this, we just finished our 10th summit, and we are up to almost 30 million media impressions, and over 3,000 women have come in to hear and take advantage of what's going on here. It goes all the way to May 11th, 2024. We're going to do a massive announcement of the book on March 8th. So women can speak and be heard. Women can write and be read. It is a 5-year project. We just launched our Sip and Summit wine from Napa Valley that women all over the U.S. can have delivered to their home. And honestly, cheers with us, the power and solidarity of International Women's Day. It's a fundraiser to the project because it's free. Like, women can come for free. And all of the summits roll over onto a streaming channel, which is Amazon TV, Apple TV, Roku, and Hulu. So imagine being able to be seen on TV, and women can come for free. It's an interesting, of course we have to do wine fundraisers. Are you kidding? How many chocolate bars do you have to sell? So we have this whole big project, and it's a really beautiful thing. It's a really beautiful project. That's a 262 in the 3 or 4 minutes. I tried to get it all together for women because I know, here we are. But yeah, that's the project, just this thing.
It's like a big thing.
It's a big thing. And there's a team, right? There's a team behind it. There's, a marketing officer and a financial officer and it's infrastructured like any good, business would be. We need to make sure we're getting access and women are getting access, giving access. And then we also have such value for women that are stepping up, speaking up, and showing up to be able to help empower women wherever they are to stand up, speak up, and show up. So whether that's walking into an office and asking your boss for a raise, you're standing up, speaking up, and showing up, and you might be over in, I don't know, let's say you're in Poland or you're in Switzerland or you're in other countries, you're in Bali, and you're about to take that walk and you're putting your hand and you are so nervous. This is one of the first times you ever stood up for yourself. You have more value. You're about to turn that door handle or push that door open or pick up the phone or whatever. And all of a sudden you feel a whoosh. And that was because some woman, right? Some woman in Mississippi or Missouri or California or Alberta, right? Stood up for herself, did something empowering, took care of herself that day. Took herself to the spa and left her phone at home. Like she did something good for her soul, her empowerment. And all of a sudden that energy is felt across the world. And we all have had that moment where we're like, I don't know where it came from. I don't know where it came from. I don't know how I did. You look around your desk. I mean, you look at what you've done. You must look and go, how did this happen? How it happened was you had surges of energy from other women doing the same thing that you never knew. I really believe this is a historical project. And I don't say that because I had nothing else to do, because I had the other things to do. But this is the largest International Women's Day Summit and authorship that's ever been created. And we did not sit around a boardroom and decide to do it. It kind of got decided. And my next book, mark my words, is hashtag God pick on somebody else. People are like, I'll join your project next time. I'm like, what next time? What's wrong with you? So we'll be doing this, and we'll continue to have summits, not 22, but we will host 4 summits a year after this to keep the momentum, because there's women that have turned this into their lifeline. And so we're not going to abandon that. So we will, after May 11th, we'll have things for women to do. But yeah.
I love it. So tell us, you have speaker slots still for women, correct?
Yes. We have speaker spots anywhere from 4 minutes to 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. It's a beautiful experience. You can be interviewed, right? So you can come on and we interview you. Everyone is coached and taught on the inside. So, sometimes women are like, I'm super nervous. It's an online forum. It has to be because it's global. We'll do some live stuff in 2024 and 2025, but it is, so women that want to speak and they want to platform and have a conversation. I mean, you're very capable of doing that, like that kind of conversation, or they want to be interviewed, that kind of conversation as well, to speak. And then we also have beautiful pages in the book that are left. It's a full cover spread about you. What's important to you personally. What do you do for your business, your project, your passion, your profit, your nonprofit, and then why you do it, and then a beautiful black and white picture, so that we can read this beautiful full cover spread and tells us who you are, what you do and why you do it, and then invite us to come reach out and play. I mean, that's really what we want to know about each other, right? When we get together. So who are you? What do you do? Tell me in a minute. And then off it happens. Then that collaboration the process starts to happen, right? So yeah.
I love everything about it. And one of the reasons why I love it is because I've always said that representation is everything. And when you create something, it's just about the one thing about us as humans is that we have the power of thought, and that we have the ability to think up anything that we want to think up, and have the advantage of having a top performance trainer, okay, to help us carry out the mission, then we can carry out the mission. Mm-hmm. So I'm super, super thankful. Tell everyone where they can find you, and if they want one of those speaker slots, tell them how they can do that as well.
Absolutely. So my website is debdrummond.com, and you can simply, there's a contact page, just reach out to me there. You can find me in all different areas. Unfortunately, some people have me under Deb Drummond, and there's Deborah Drummond. So Deborah Drummond on LinkedIn, Deborah Drummond on Facebook. And here's the thing, people go, I can't believe you said that on air. And I'll tell you, I believe in giving my phone number, and I'll tell you why. Because predominantly 90% of people that reach me do it through text or WhatsApp. So that's kind of where I play. I'm not afraid to give my phone number on air, because if you've heard something and you need to reach me right away, that's the place to do it. Because so I'm area code 604-655-4698. Reach out to me on text or WhatsApp. I will see that first. And then you can also email me through debdrummond.com.
I'm a testament that she does answer her text.
Yeah.
Look, she's like, text me, don't email me. I probably should start doing that, because listen, it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing trying to do the whole email, for sure, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But it has been a pleasure talking to you. We are having our last masterclass of the year, December 19th, and it's going to be amazing. So if anyone wants to sign up for that, you can at vpnursing.com. Outside of that, go visit Miss Deborah, because she is absolutely a powerhouse, and I am super proud to know her. So go ahead.
Yeah, I do want to say one thing. So if you do not resonate to be a speaker or an author, please come and fill up. Like, this is a place where we can pour into you and you can be inspired and motivated. And we probably give anywhere between $3,000 to $20,000 of gifts away each summit. Okay. So there's that. And then if you love top performance, if you're like, because when people say to me, how do you do this 260? I'm like, well, I'm a top performance trainer. I know how to make efficiency work in my advantage. But we do the same thing as a fundraiser for the 262. You can obviously purchase wine off the site. That's cool. We also have journals, but we have a top performance. I will do a 90-minute class once a month. It's group on top performance. And because of the magic number of 8, it's $8. So if you want to come learn anything about that, you can go onto the site and see that and inquire about that. When you said masterclass, I wanted to let people know we were doing a fundraising class, which is focused on top performance. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to ask you this question, because you asked, and I almost forgot.
It's the karma.
The question about music. If you had to pick one song that resonates with you, that's been really good for you in this season of life specifically, what's the one song?
Okay, so you know what comes to me? There's this beautiful song. Most people would think I'm going to answer Janis Joplin, and yeah, lay it down. I love Janis Joplin. I love her story. I love how she overcame, left this planet too soon. But I would say the song that comes to me is a song by a band called Spandau Ballet. And it's a song called True. And it is beautiful, and it is poetic, and it's incredible melody. And it's called True, TRU, Spandau Ballet. It's beautiful.
Okay. And why does it resonate with you?
It resonates with me because it's kind of graceful yet powerful. And I think that's kind of where I'm at the stage in my life, In my 20s, I was powerful. I don't know how graceful I was. But people call me Janis Joplin. I did a presentation yesterday, and someone said to me, what do you do when you can't afford a coach? I'm like, okay, I'm going to give you the Janis Joplin answer. I'm like, going to go find it. But so I just believe that collaboratively, women have learned how to have a lot of grace with each other, a lot of forgiveness with each other. And we have gone from, I call it the pantsuit era, when we started to have our economic availability come to us. We stepped into a world of competitiveness, right? Particularly in corporate, it was like, hey, we need to find our way. We need to find our way. We didn't know how to find our way and the way. And then the way is collaboration. And I believe this is a time where there is so much grace between women. We could do the exact same thing and come together and be massively abundant. I believe that the walls of competition are falling, and I believe it is so powerful and so graceful, and it is a higher place to be. So I think that's why.
Well, I cannot end on a better note than that. So it has been amazing talking to you. So thank you. Thank you for gracing our show today. So you guys have a phenomenal rest of your day.